Good evening, Chris. How are you doing, sir?
Good, good. Good to see you. Hope you're
Good to see
doing
you.
well this
So,
week.
yeah, I know we're awake, and then we're trying to get to the FIFA World Cup quarterfinal preview after the 48 team format that is finally down to eight, with all the three host nations eliminated during the round of 16. And right now, the tournament has reached its absolute peak of sporting tension, of course. And what we want to do today is that let's quickly talk about three things. One, what surprised you the most for this tournament? Two, obviously, we'll have to get to Team USA. And three, we can quickly do a almost like a preview of the quarterfinal matchups between the eight teams that are left, and then we can talk about who gets to the semifinal, and maybe we'll even pick the final. I think we're in good
Yeah,
shape there too. So I think now
let's
we're
do
pretty
it.
close. All right. So let me hear your thoughts first on the what surprised you the most. I have one, but what surprised you the most so far in the tournament?
Well, there was a couple teams. Like obviously, I think everyone the Cape Verde thing was awesome and crazy to watch. Just the team that I mean, a country itself that's what is it the size of like some of these cities in our country
Yeah.
with under a couple 100,000 people, and they fielded a team that took the number one team in the world to the brink there. And if nothing more, I mean, they always talk about like football, soccer is such a, you know, if you can play defense, it just takes one goal. And they were a great story for them, right? They were awesome to watch. And that, everyone has to think that that was cool. Hopefully, if you care at all about the sport, that was awesome. I think, was the other one, who am I thinking of? South Africa was great, right? To watch them, the Congo coming out, the teams that if you'd have told me any of them had a good run, I'd have never expected them to make it that far. But that was great to see. That's, I guess, when we talked a couple weeks ago, the joy and pain of having 32 teams advance is that there's going to be some dark horses. But the fact that Congo, not Congo, but that Cape Verde even won a match was crazy and got that far is just awesome. And I mean, again, they took Messi and the number one team in the world on to extra time and I mean to overtime, and they Messi got lucky again, and Argentina finds ways to win. But I mean that to me is the story of the tournament. I mean, and the one other thing, and we'll get to this when we get to these previews, but Holland is just carrying that team, man, like carrying Norway, and Norway has never gone far ever. I mean, no, they haven't even made a World Cup in a long time. But the fact that one player has basically put that team on his back, and he's carrying them in there and just kicking ass. And it's been cool because he's really been all over the place in the U.S. and just getting out there, meeting people, doing things like in the communities and towns. And it's just funny because it's also half of America doesn't even know who the guy is. So he's one of the top stars in the world, but when he walks through like Dallas, they show him walking downtown, no one has a clue who he is. It's just funny watching these guys in the U.S. themselves. But I've that was my long-winded answer of a few things, but definitely been cool. And my other favorite is just seeing the reaction of both the Americans watching soccer and then the foreigners who came to the U.S. and the things they've seen with whether it's the stadiums or the food or just the culture that we have here is pretty cool. So again, hoping that maybe this will spark a little interest in 20 years from now, maybe these kids that are growing up here watching this World Cup are going to be interested and we'll have a good team again. But we'll get to our team after. But that was my favorite part so far.
I agree with I echo everything you said. A couple things that I wanted to bring. I mean, the stories about Cape Verde and Congo were phenomenal, and I was actually looking at some of the picks we did, and then I shared the picks, and I think we got most of them right. I think one thing we got, I think, wrong was the Uruguay, which surprised everybody, which made sure
Hmm.
that they took the commercial flight back home. I think they didn't even get like a charter jet.
Exactly. Yep.
But the other thing, I think prior to the tournament starting, both of us felt this way. And I think I'm happy to be proven wrong on this, which is we both questioned the 48 team format. We thought it was too much. But I will tell you what. every game. And well, you know what? Today was the first day in 27 days that they didn't have a single game. And it felt like a withdrawal
Yep.
symptoms. And it almost felt like in the
Yeah,
group
yeah,
chats I am
for
on.
sure.
Yeah, in the group chats I'm on, everybody was
It's
actually
like, now
saying,
what? Yep.
now what? Like, so everybody got into it, to your
Mhm.
point about Americans and even like non football slash soccer fans have all gotten to it. So I think that's one thing. The second was the fact, like you talked about, the culture and the fact that the way each of these stadiums looked, they really looked like true soccer stadium because they used a lot of the NFL stadiums for this. And everywhere
Yep.
you went, whether it was the Norwegian fans with the rowing thing, or with all the
Oh,
Argentinian
yeah, yeah.
fans, yeah, Argentinian fans,
Yep,
and like outside of the stadium with about 30 to 40,000 people, everywhere you went, and a lot of people who went to the game said it was incredible feeling. That's one thing. The second thing, obviously, for us was from a American standpoint. I think we did great to host the event. Let's come down to the actual, let's pivot to the next one, which is what happened to the American team. I mean, I thought the first two games, they started on a high. Third game, they rested their starters. They lost to Turkey. And then they snuck past Bosnia. I think they played well against Bosnia, which is not a great team. But
yep,
then
yep,
Belgium was the team that they had to beat after 2014 loss. So, and last time when they lost to Belgium, they lost 22-1, and it was just because we missed a goal at the end. It would have been tied.
yep.
So, your thoughts on what happened to the United States?
Um, well, I think we discussed this early on too, is that on a few points, but one is that I don't think they were prepared well. But as we discussed in the first week, right, like they had a great bracket or pool for the beginning, right? Obviously, Turkey underperformed, but the other teams weren't that great either, right? So we had a great start against teams that we should have a good start against. Again, we got lucky on the draw because we had to play Bosnia, which was one of the worst teams that actually made the field of 32. So we had a good
I
draw
would say
there,
that was probably
and
the
I
weakest
did
teams of
think.
the 32, right? That is probably one of the weakest team of the
Exactly. Yeah,
32.
definitely one of them. If you could make an argument for a couple, but they're in the bottom 3 or 4 that I can look at, like, right off the top that just is, like, teams that we definitely should beat, which we did, but actually, I mean, I do think they played well that game, but then I think we got a little too big for our britches, obviously, and, the Balogun foul, the whole, the debacle about whether he should play or not play, red card, not a red card, and then we just were not. I mean, they I never s the problem was, and we, kind of mentioned this, is we still can't compete with the big boys, and I hate to be the downer, but we looked way overmatched the other night, and that was, as good as we looked in a few of those other games other than the Turkey game, we looked terrible in the last one, and it was a bad way to go out, right? Because I think, the really bad thing was that we as we discussed, like, I really thought that the US fans were embracing the team and following the team, and, you and I are in lots of group chats of people who are not soccer fans, and they were all into this, and the US team
Yeah.
had people believing, and, they came up really, really, really small. And whether you want to point the finger at, guys like Pulisic who are supposed to be leaders, or Tillman showed up, but the rest of them, Balogun was small. We didn't even get a good shot on goal until like the 80th minute. We just looked like they very overmatched, and that was without De Bruyne playing, without Lukaku playing till the end, and
Mhm.
a few of the Doku, a few of those guys sat. So we didn't even get the Belgium A team, and we still got, destroyed. And the
Pummeled.
fact that it was 3-3-4-1 in the end, it could have been way worse. Like, we didn't even deserve that. So it was a bad way to go out. Like, if we could have done a Cape Verde even, and just fought and lost, I could accept that. But it was an ugly loss, and I'll expect there'll be some changes coming because as a result, because it was just very unprepared. So sad ending, but it was a good ride, but the end was very unimpressive, and just a quick fall from grace for the people.
Yeah, and I think the to your point, right? Two things that helped U.S. Win big, right? They won 4-1 to Paraguay, and again, don't get me wrong, Paraguay barely lost to France. Of course, they
Yeah.
mugged the heck out of France, but they still lost to France. But U.S. destroyed them, and then beating Australia 2-0. And then Turkey game was weird because I think, like I said, when you rest all the
Yeah, and
players,
it didn't matter. I'll give them
it didn't
that one as
matter.
a freebie.
It didn't
Yeah.
matter. But you know what? It would have been nice to win 3 games in a row and obviously they didn't want to risk. Um, yellow cards. And of course, although we did get a red card for Balogun and which got overturned, that I don't know if that kind of played a motivation factor for Belgium because there was too much of political interference, although FIFA maintains there was nothing. However, I do think that it
Yep.
distracted the team. I would say it distracted the team, and I don't know why they didn't come out firing. I mean, they let the first goal in within the ninth minute. I was actually in the airport coming back to Connecticut watching the first half, and it was disappointing to see the way they were playing. And thank God I didn't see the second half. I saw bits and pieces of it because, in the plane, there was a guy in front of me actually had the thing, and you could see the score go up to 3-1, and then you were like 4-1. I'm like, okay, you know what? They didn't deserve. And I don't know with all the lot of these players playing in the EPL. And like I said, and if you look at it, 6 of the 8 teams that are in the quarterfinal are all European teams. So I was actually
Yep.
thinking that
Yep.
US would have had a better showing. And like you said, I don't know where to pinpoint it at this point. I'm sure they will do like a postmortem analysis on that. But anyway, the US is unfortunately not in. So is Mexico, which fell to a amazing England team, and then of course Canada,
That
which
was and I'll say that, that Sunday night Mexico England game was amazing. That was one of the
amazing,
best games
one of the
I've
best.
watched in years
Yeah,
in any sport, in any, definitely of the soccer matches. It was just
yeah,
back and forth and just like, the atmosphere there. It was cool, man. It was very loud. It was just packed house screaming. Um, they were like two boxers, man. Like that was a fun game. And anyone who
yeah.
watched that, I'm sure enjoyed it because
Well,
that was a
back to back,
knockdown,
right? You
drag
had
'em out
Cape
type thing.
Verde,
Yeah.
yeah, you had Cape
Yeah.
Verde,
Yeah.
Argentina, followed by the Mexico, England, and I think and we were actually, I don't know if you know this. I think I sent you guys the pictures, but I was actually watching a Canada Morocco game on the Pittsburgh Steeler. I know it used to be called the Heinz Field at the Arky Shore Stadium. It
Oh,
was
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But anyway, let's pivot to the matches for tomorrow. I mean, obviously, Argentina escaped twice. I mean, once against Cape Verde, once against Egypt. Although there was a lot of controversy, but you know what? Meaning, there was some fouls or things. But you know what? The good thing is, like Mohamed Salah actually came out and said, he did a very good
Yeah.
post on saying, "Hey, you know what? They deserve to win," and things like that. So, I think very class act by Salah anyway. But the thing is, like right now, we get to the next phase. Like I said, we have these are the quarterfinal matchups. We got France, Morocco, Spain, and Belgium. You got Argentina and Switzerland, and you got Norway and England. So let's quickly talk about the France and Morocco game, which is I think it's at the Gillette Stadium, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
Um,
yep. I believe
and
that is right,
tomorrow, right?
and,
Tomorrow, yeah.
yep.
Tomorrow, yeah, at the Boston Stadium, as they called it, because FIFA kind of takes over all the names.
Yes, yes, you
So
can't
your
call it
your
Gillette.
thoughts on? I know. I mean, I saw Morocco a
Um,
lot because they played in the Brazil half of the bracket. So I know the way they played Brazil, the way they completely destroyed, demolished Canada, and then but they're playing against France, which is probably the team to beat right now in the tournament, other than
yeah,
Argentina or Spain.
yeah.
So
No, I
your
mean,
thoughts?
the final, the final 8 teams, I think you probably could have predicted at least 5 of them, but I think France is the the class of this, right? So they're to me, I think the clear cut favorite. I would pick them. Morocco, nothing against them. They're still a top 10 team. They've been great, man. They've been fun to watch too. They just have so much
Yeah.
speed, and um, I just can't imagine them holding. I think it'll be a great game though. Like I could see a few, 4 or 5 goals getting scored again, and France coming out on top, like 3-1, 3-2, something like that. And but hopefully it'll be a good, exciting game too. Yeah, that would be good. We've even, one other note that I thought was exciting. We had a bunch of shootouts in the last couple rounds that were just,
Mm,
that I go back and forth on those because I do hate for 120 minutes to be played and it to come down to
right.
5, 10 shots. But it is exciting and it's keeps, I'm sure, the fans love it. But France, right? France is my winner here. I think they're gonna have a tough time holding down those forwards, Mbappe, Dembele. Those guys are just gonna. I think they'll get a couple goals between them and win the game.
Yeah, when I think about this game, I think one thing that I was reading somewhere is that Morocco is very good, right? Very good. And I think when you think about even when
Yeah,
they
yeah,
played Brazil, I think and there's a trend, and of course, against like a weaker opponent like Canada was not a weaker opponent, but they're not your top echelon teams. And a lot of the Moroccan players do
yeah,
play in
yeah,
the EPL and other leagues. So one thing about Morocco, which really, and I read somewhere, like maybe after the 60th minute or 65th minute, when they start introducing substitutions, they don't have a very deep bench, and this is where a team like France could really capitalize because France is stacked, they're
yeah,
completely
yeah.
stacked. Um, and it's Mbappe is the name there, but I do think that they have Michael Olise, lot of the good players there that they have in for of course apart from Mbappe and things like that, and then there's other good players that you have. If for France as well. And I think, especially when they were playing Paraguay, um, they got mugged a lot. So I think this will be a much cleaner game. And I think France is better team in terms of skill. And I think with Morocco's dependency on top heavy players, that could be the one to bite them. So I'm going with France too. So let's quickly
Yeah.
pivot to, of course, Spain playing against Belgium. Spain overcoming Portugal. Portugal, another disappointment in the tournament. And then Belgium, like I said, they were not really impressive to me until the US game anyway. Belgium should have lost to
No, I
Senegal,
agree.
like
Yeah.
we know. They should have lost to Senegal. Senegal was up 2-0, and Belgium should have lost that game. But hey, but you know what? They're taking on Spain, which is currently at a 35 match unbeaten run. They've not lost a game in 35 games, which is incredible in itself.
Yep.
And it's Spain is very good,
Yeah.
not just from an offensive standpoint, they're very good, very defensively too. And that's something they really made sure that Portugal didn't have many chances. So your thoughts on this matchup, and do you give
Yeah.
Belgium a shot?
No, and I stay with Spain here. I just think they're stacked, and well, I'll get to the next round after, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I think Spain right now, to me, is the best team in the world. Um, I just think, uh, I get it. They're all good when you get to these last four that we'll pick here, but that's the team that I think can give Argentina a run for their money, and that's who I'll pick in the final when we get to it. But that I think Spain wins. Um, I think Belgium is good, but they're not at that level.
Yeah. So both of us are actually seeing your France versus Spain semifinal then, right? That's what we're saying. All right.
Yes, sir.
Then we come to the
That's where I'm
fun.
going. Yep.
Yeah, this is what I was hoping that my team would be here,
Yeah, I
Brazil
agree.
against in England. Um, but unfortunately, it's Norway. Norway was in England. I mean, England has been very good, very, very good, to be honest with you. They have been excellent. The Mexico game, like you said, was phenomenal. They were down to 10 men at the 54th minute, and you're hoping for Mexico to
Yeah.
break through the wall. It never happened. But England, Harry Kane, is as good as he. Jude Bellingham was the one who was spectacular in that game. Two
Yeah, my
goals there.
guy. Yeah, that's
Your
right.
guy. And Norway,
Yeah, I love him.
it's funny. Norway's, they are the Cinderella run. I think Norway is like the team that everybody in America is rooting for. I think, if you ask me, um, and I'm rooting for them too.
Yeah.
I think. And your thoughts on this game?
Well, I hate to be like Captain Obvious, so to speak, but I think the run ends here for
Okay.
Norway, and I think England beats them. I do think Holland gets a goal or two to keep his streak alive, but I just feel like England has such firepower that it'll be hard to beat them. Now, um, that's the one match where I could see like if you ask me, I think like Morocco, I don't see having much of a chance. Belgium, I don't see having much of a chance. Norway has that little thing right now that I don't think they win, but that's the one that I could see an upset coming. Um, but I'm going with England. again, I think Kane, this is his time to shine, and I don't think they win it, but between him, I think these guys have to make a statement this year. England has fallen short every year, and this is their time. And if they don't, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I think, when even when watching Norway against Brazil, and I don't think, this is not the Brazil of the old. And Brazil had multiple opportunities. Of course, they missed a penalty. They had an easy breakaway goal. And I think if they had scored those two goals, I think Norway was in trouble. So my thing that would surprise me is that
Yeah.
England is so good at penetrating the defenses, and Norway has actually not been that good from a defensive standpoint. And the only good thing for Norway is that they've scored in
Yeah.
every game. But England's got the other thing, which England would be, they got four players who actually have yellow cards playing on suspension warning. That includes Jude Bellingham. But Norway's
Yeah.
healthy, and it's funny. I was actually watching. There's a Netflix show on Norway and how bad they were and where they are now. So it's actually fun. If you ever get a chance, there's something about Norway. Netflix. I think I caught like two episodes or something like that. And yes, but I'm actually going to go the other way, Chris. I'm going to go
My man.
against.
Good.
I'm going to go with the rowing man with the drums beating, upsetting England, going to the semifinal. So that's what I see it. And then the last game, let's quickly get to it, like Argentina and Switzerland. And I thought this would have been an all South American matchup between Argentina and Colombia. But here we are. Switzerland gets into the tournament. I think last time they were in I think the quarterfinals was in 1954. So this is the biggest quarterfinal matchup at the Arrowhead Stadium. And Argentina, like you said, right? I mean, two escapes for them. I think this is a game that they should be able to win easily. I think. Your thoughts on that?
Yes. No. Yep. Agreed. And after all the crazy matches they had, the fact that now they get to play Switzerland, it's like you said, I think that's the easiest game they've had in a while. So to me, they got the easiest road, and again, that would be my biggest surprise if Switzerland even comes close. I'm also you can make the case potentially, and I know they've had a lot of scares right now, Argentina, but I think they found their stride now. What was it, 2-0 in the 60th, 70th minute of that game yesterday, and they found the way back, and they came back with a vengeance, and it was that was another game, man. It was crazy to watch because poor Egypt had so many
Yeah.
opportunities towards the end, and Argentina just kept getting kept fighting and pushing and got those 3 goals late, and it was, that was an awesome game, man. But yeah, I think at this point have the best chance and the easiest road for to me at least.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I think the only thing that would, I think they're playing a weaker team than what they played, which was Egypt. Like even Cape
Yes.
Verde. I mean,
Yep.
I think I would say at this point of time, I don't know. I mean, if you take a matchup between Cape Verde and Switzerland, I think I would take Cape Verde at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
They
remember
have a
this:
chance.
Cape Verde did not lose a single match in this World Cup at the 90th minute mark in the regular time,
Yeah.
including
Yeah,
Argentina.
nothing in regulation it was, you're right.
Nothing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
regulation. So
Crazy, crazy stat.
crazy,
Yep.
crazy to think of it. Like for an island nation that was like 450,000. I bet someone did say that the lot of tourism bookings are going to be rising going to Cape Verde. So
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I don't even know how they field a team, let alone get that far in the tournament. It's crazy
it's
because
crazy. Yes.
you'd never expect a team that's what are they to rank like 70th in the world, somewhere around there, and that they get to the final, 16 here. So awesome story for sure.
So what do you think are the your semifinal projections now?
S For me, I went with, after that, I'm going with Spain over France, but I think that's
Oh,
gonna be one of the best games of the year, and Argentina over England.
wow.
I
What
think,
a
as good as England is, I don't think they're that great. I know, but I'm picking the France upset, I guess, so to speak, of saying Spain will
Well,
beat
since
them.
I already
Let's hope.
eliminated England, I already eliminated England, and for in this place of Norway. So Norway, Argentina, I have, and Spain and France. I was conflicted between France and Spain. France is really good. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to go to the rematch of the last year final, which is
I'll
France
take
and
it.
Argentina.
Hey, I do think, you couldn't ask for 4 better, if it becomes even if it's Norway, the story of them. But we're at the stage where you're gonna have the number one, two, three, and five rated teams in the world. Is that what it is? But
Yep.
we're they're out there. So yeah, number one. Oh, actually, right now, France, Argentina, Spain, and England are the one, two, three, and four rated teams in the
Yeah.
world. So it's
Wow.
I if you could, if you projected it, I guess we're not total surprises, but these are that's the way it is. So, um, I'm sticking with them. I think that would be fair. Those four, and then yeah,
Hmm.
Argentina, Spain. I'll go with Spain in the end,
Hmm.
and hopefully, when I come back with you in 2 weeks, I can gloat and tell you I was right. But
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to
But
go with,
I would love England to win. I would that like, if my heart would I cheer for them because I'm a big Premier League fan, I'm a Harry
yep.
Kane fan, I think, and obviously Bellingham. So between those guys, like, I'd love to see it, but I don't think they will. But, that would
I,
be where my heart is.
I do think that, with Colombia out of the right quarterfinal, because I was thinking Colombia was my dark horse all along. And I think we even talked about that. I think they have the team, they had the team to beat Switzerland yesterday. And Colombia,
Yeah.
Argentina, the fact that they're both like, South American, Copa America, I think that would have been a tougher matchup for Argentina. I think right now Argentina is an easier through. And I thought it's
Yep.
Argentina and Norway, Spain, and um, England,
France.
right? Like, no, and Spain and France. Spain and France.
Yep, yep.
So I think, like I said, I think I'm going to go with France and Argentina. And let me think about this one. I'm going to go with France. I'm going to change my thing, and I think France is better than Argentina. Argentina was able to come back against, play a tough Cape Verde team, playing against Egypt. They came back, but I think with France, I think it may be very tough for them. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess the good thing is we both think they're run in, so that'll be interesting, and maybe
Yep.
to watch.
Yeah.
But
So
I have to say,
let's
if
yeah.
one thing though, I gotta say for people, like, it's been great to see Messi at 40, 40-ish years old to still be able to prove himself, and like, he's up for the Golden Boot, and I think if they make it, he'll get it. It's just that the fact that he's still this good, and I know he had a lot of doubters from going to the MLS, like he was kind of taking the easy way out, but I think he's proved that he's just as good as anyone still at 39 and can keep up with the big boys. So I think that's been a cool story too to watch, of just that how good that team is and how good he looks. That guy is he's incredible to watch. With just it's like he's got the ball on a string the whole time. It's just like, dribbling around people, spinning, and then open the passing lanes. It's just he's impressive.
Yep. All right. So let's come back in 2 weeks, or when the tournament ends, and we'll do it, and then we'll go from there. Thanks again, Chris. I know
All
it's late
right.
in the night, but thanks for accommodating your
Yeah.
time, and
Happy
we
to
made it
help, man.
happen. And just hold on a bit when I stop the record button. All right. Good night.